Hi, it's Charlie with Boxing Focus, and a few thoughts on Beltran's draw with Ricky Burns. So, was it a bit of a robbery? The short answer is no. The long answer is he was a bit unlucky, and there's a bit more to it than that. So, it was an entertaining fight, and it seemed that Burns, he's not got the greatest knockout record, and he didn't seem to be able to really hit hard enough to keep Beltran honest, and Beltran was just walking through it. Beltran gave away the first 2 rounds, but then started coming on fairly strong, and it seems that in the 3rd round, they're saying, not entirely sure I believe it, I think it might have been later, but in the 3rd round he's clocked Burns and dislocated his jaw, and Burns has bravely fought on for the rest of the fight. And quite often in the fight it seemed at the mercy of Beltran, but Burns dug deep, and he threw back, and he managed to snatch some rounds later in the fight. Now, honestly, I scored it for Beltran by a couple of points, but there were a couple of rounds that Burns gave a good enough account of himself to have, they were close, and I can understand why a judge might have scored them for Burns. So I think Beltran, maybe it was a little bit of a hometown decision, but he kind of cost himself this one by not really. It seemed that he was unable to plan what he was doing without significant time. I mean, it was the counter left hook which was working beautifully. Every time Burns shaped for his own left hook, Beltran just came back and cracked him. If I were Burns' corner, I'd have been telling him around the 4th, 5th round, just don't throw any more left hooks, because every time he threw it, he got countered, and that was the big punch for Beltran. But outside of that, he kept getting Burns on the ropes, and Burns his arms would be high, his elbows would be fairly high, there'd be quite a bit of a rib cage exposed, and Beltran would kind of plod away, sometimes occasionally throwing in some hardish body shots, but usually shaping to go up top. And then this is where he basically cost himself the fight. He spent far too much time doing very little when Burns was there for the taking. Burns is trapped square against the ropes, he's leaning back, he's in no position to throw his own punches. Beltran has free rein to do what he wants for these periods, and then there were several minutes of this throughout the fight, and perhaps this is why Beltran's most famously known for being a sparring partner of Pacquiao. He certainly wasn't a great tactical. That's the wrong word. I mean, he just had no idea how to deconstruct a tough guy who's vulnerable, and unable to throw back. Canelo is great at this. What he does is he'll throw an uppercut. It'll be a throwaway punch, possibly not even that accurate, but just to draw the hands up a little bit high and then come back with a body shot. There was nothing like that. There was no mixing it body to head, really. It was head to body. I mean, he should have been chopping Burns' body down. Burns should have been out of that fight with the room that Beltran had to work, and he just wasn't capitalising. And there were some rounds where even though he's dominating, he stopped throwing punches for 30 seconds a minute. He's giving it away. He's opened the door for a fight that he arguably did win to be judged a draw. Now, the guy that scored it for Burns, that's pretty corrupt. That's a horrible scorecard. But the actual draw, the guy who scored it 114-114, I can see that scorecard. So really, they're throwing their toys out the pram in the Beltran camp. But if you have a chance, especially when you're in an opponent's backyard, you've got to take it. And I'd say Ricky Burns left. He poured his heart out, considering he had serious damage. Dislocated jaw is no fun. But did Beltran leave everything in the ring? Did he leave 90% in the ring? Like he had plenty left to me. I think he's. He not only did he show extremely poor shot choice, given the fact that he had more power and Burns was badly hurt. He just didn't, especially down the stretch. He just didn't try hard enough, and he's cost himself a very door-opening victory. That would have seen him move on to some big fights, but I suspect that he'll come up short fairly soon. If you can't take advantage in a situation like that, I don't think it's boding well for future success, unfortunately. But it was a good fight, and my hats off to both fighters, because boxing's never easy, despite what commentators might have you believe. This is Charlie with Boxing Focus. Let me know what you thought.